What's up everybody, Zalán here, and today I'm going to talk about cinematic lighting in an extremely cheap way. But why lighting is such an important aspect of filmmaking? It's because without good lighting you can have Reds, RELXs or any kind of expensive camera, but your footage will still look horrible. Today I'm going to give you 6 steps you need to take in order to have cinematic lighting. And with taking these steps, it doesn't matter if you are only recording with your mobile phone, your footage will still look amazing. Step number 1 is shoot negative field side, or the so-called shadow side. The idea of shooting shadow side is whatever your light is placed on, your camera has to be on the other side of your subject. It may sound too simple, but believe me, it makes such a big difference. But the reason they do that is because it gives a much more dramatic feel to the scene, adds depth to the person's face, and also adds a more of a three-dimensional element. Step number 2 is lighting direction. The entire emotion of your project can be changed by just slightly moving your light. By moving your light far above your subject, the person will look less trustworthy and more depressed. If you put the light too low, you will reverse the shadows on the face and the person will start to look like a villain. But the most natural lighting on a person's face is if you have the light at a 45-degree angle on their face, creating an upside down triangle on the subject's opposite cheek. Step number 3 is diffuse your light. I have a full video on how to light faces, but in simple terms, try to diffuse your light with a bedsheet, as we are talking about extremely cheap way of lighting. What I recommend you is double diffusion, as it will light your subject face a lot smoother. You can especially see it in the eyes, the cheekbones and the shadow side of the nose. It's just smooth, pleasing, and it's almost like a gradient across my face. Because that's the goal, you don't want the viewer to be distracted thinking that there's a light source pointed in that direction. Step number 4 is depth. Creating depth and separating your subject from the background is a necessity when it comes to filmmaking. You don't want the subject to blend into whatever background they are in. You can create separation by shooting at a lower aperture, but you can also add separation by lighting. Now, like it or not, the orange and teal look is very popular, and it's because the color contrast. The reason for the high contrast look is that orange is the opposite color of the blue on the color wheel. You don't have to always use orange and blue, you can use any color, but they have to be exactly the opposite of each other on the color wheel. Another way to give depth to the scene is darker background than the subject. Step number 5 is background lighting. It doesn't only apply to interview lighting but also to any movie. Without the background lighting, your scene would look like it was recorded on a stage and the only light is your stage's light. So no matter what, you have to light your background, even if you do it with a lot of diffusion or with just a few candles. Step number 6 is eye light. Eye light gives life to your subject, so make sure when you are lighting your subject you can see the eye light. And if you don't see it, try to move your light just a little bit until you see the reflection in the eye. Now at the end I want to show you all the steps combined and how much difference it makes. Now the shot doesn't look bad at all, but combining all the 6 steps, it will make such a big difference. So the first step is shooting shadow side. The second step is lighting direction. Step number 4 is giving depth. Step number 5 is background lighting. Step number 6 is eye light. That was it. 6 steps to achieve cinematic lighting. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel to see more of this kind of content. And see you guys in the next one.